Well, welcome back. Haven't things changed since yesterday? This is Special Stage. I'm Paul Woodford, and this is the final day of Rally Ceredigion, the penultimate round of the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. We're in Hereford for stage 12. 4 stages today to finish things off. 57 kilometres, and it all comes down to this. A number of championship titles coming to a head here this weekend, but the overall driver's title, as things stand, will go to the final round, the Hillsford stages, in a couple of weeks' time. But that doesn't mean that the jeopardy has finished here on the stages, because there are still a lot of things that could happen. We'll run through the permutations and the championship points of interest, shall we say, in just a few minutes' time. We're just awaiting our crews through. There was a bit of confusion around whether or not this stage would run after an incident for Eamon Kelly in the internationals. However, we're pleased to say that the hard-working Orange Army, the marshals, have been out in force getting the stage ready to run, and the national rally is about to begin here. And we can't wait to get this underway, albeit the weather has not been as kind to us this morning. It was bright sunshine and beautiful right up until 5 minutes before we got the nod to say the stage was about to run, and then the heavens opened. Now, the crucial thing as far as that is concerned is speaking to our drivers last night in service after the final stages, before the cars were put into Parc Fermé. They were aware this weather was coming, more so than we were, it has to be said, so they should be prepared. Producer Wayne may not have the right tyres on, but hopefully our competitors will have accounted for this. Speaking to Callum Black on message a few minutes ago, he was sat on the start line. Stage commander had confirmed the stage was ready to go. He said nothing else other than that, but with a big, big lead, he can't afford to throw things away with how slippery these stages will now be. So it does add a certain amount of pressure, doesn't it, to all of our crews today. Bethania was the first stage, stage 11, that was 10.7 kilometres. This is Hereford, and we're down at the hairpin, which is a favourite spot for the fans here on these roads. We ran this last year. I was here with Hugh Hunter on the live coverage, and there was some good action down here, and now it's got nice and slippery. We should see plenty of skids for our crews, if that's what you're tuning in for. 26.5 kilometres this Hereford stage, and then we repeat the same 2 stages afterwards before we get to the end of this 184 kilometre 3-day 14 stage marathon that has been Rally Ceredigion 2024. And what an adventure it has been. Thank you so much for tuning in with us over the 3 days of this rally. We've had a lot of fun. We hope you have as well, and the action on the stages has been everything that we've come to expect from this Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship, hasn't it? Don't forget, if you have tuned in over the weekend, you have automatically entered the draw to win one of our Rallying is Life Lombard RAC themed Rally TV t-shirts. They won't give me one. You have to win one on the live coverage. Money can't buy these, nor can special favours or flattery. I've tried. Anyway, the national top 10, the overall national top 10, after last night's stages, and it has stayed the same. I'm just flicking down through stage 11, goes like this. Callum Black, Jack Morton in the lead, and what a lead it is as well. Neil Roskell, Rob Fagg behind them. Sam Toozle, Max Freeman in 3rd place. They led overnight, to remind you, after Friday's 2 stages through Aberystwyth, around the harbour and onto the seafront, and had an incident yesterday damaging the front left of that Rally 2 Fiesta. But the Jersey man, in good spirits when we spoke to him last night, he was looking for a big push today and to make a few points, he said. I'm not sure what points he was talking about. Ian Evans, Gareth Parry in 4th place. Dylan Davies, Michael Gilby behind them. Michael's so excited to be rallying on his home lanes. It was lovely to see that on social media. Not registered for points, that pair. And we will come to the Protyre leaderboard very shortly. But great to see local drivers and co-drivers getting so excited about these rallies, because a lot of work goes in, and these dreams have been here for a long time, but the rallies haven't. Gareth Edwards, Moy Williams behind them. Hugh James, Lewis Sim, first of our two-wheel drive crews in the Protyre, in 7th place on the national overall leaderboard. Gareth Thomas is Larry, wasn't he? He's in 8th. Darren Atkinson 9th. Gordon Cunningham in 10th. And there is our championship leader. And indeed, our rally leader by a good margin. Callum Black, Jack Morton, not risking anything at this first run through the Hafford hairpin. There's just no need, is there? Judging the grip. We'll be on intermediate tyres, I would have thought. Having gone through the first stage in the dry, and this second stage couldn't be anything more different. Callum Black, Jack Morton through the stage. So in the Protyre leaderboard, the same top three is true. Callum, Neil, Sam. Don't forget that title fight between Callum and Neil. We'll come to the championship permutations in a few moments. Is raging here, and that is all important. It's all eyes on the title here at the penultimate round before the Hills Fall stages in a couple of weeks. 3 more stages, including this one, to make it count for both of those drivers. And indeed, all of our drivers fighting for titles right through the leaderboard. So Hugh James, Lewis Sim, the first of our two-wheel drive crews, in 4th in the Protyre leaderboard. Darren Atkinson, Phil Sandham, who will tie up the B13 title here if they take maximum points. Or indeed, even if he just finishes. There is Neil Roskell. Rob Fag alongside. Just overcooking it very slightly on the hairpin. It's a very different kettle of fish doing this in the wet compared to in the dry. Just judging the grip levels, and again, Neil can't afford to throw anything away. 7 points is the difference between Callum Black and Jack Morton, Neil Roskell, and for this weekend, Rob Fag coming into this round. If things stay as they are, maximum points for Callum, 28 points on the board for Neil. That gap stretches to 9. You see how good my maths was? 9 points at the final round, which does give us a final round title showdown. And it's all about, with the drop scores taken into account, the top 6 scores counting, it's about who can improve on their scores from earlier in the year. Callum has a couple to improve on, doesn't he? So does Neil. So it's not all over, but Neil Roskell does need to finish this. There is Sam Toozle, Max Freeman alongside, a man who has really come on strong this season, with some tuition from 3-time British Rally champion Matt Edwards. It was earlier this year at Snetterton Race Circuit in Norfolk when we did the round of the Circuit Rally Championship. We first met Sam and Aaron Nichol, who was his co-driver back then from Jersey. And he was looking at getting onto the closed roads over here. And he was the first to say last night that he hasn't really had the competition in the same type of car over in Jersey, so this was a real baptism of fire, but it was an important part of his development coming over here and pitching himself against UK drivers in these cars, and he has done that, and wow, what a job he's done, leading overnight. And you have to say, without the issues yesterday, the times would suggest he would be in 2nd place at this stage. That is some performance from Sam. No Kevin and Owen Davies, don't forget. They retired. It's a bad load for them. There's Dylan Davies and Michael Gilby alongside 2 DNFs chalked up over the last 2 Rally Ceredigions. Dylan is keen to get a finish on the board this weekend, and in the overall national leaderboard at the moment, he is 5th. If you are looking to get to the finish in Aberystwyth and join in the celebrations this afternoon, by the way, for the national rally, the finish is around about 4:20 p.m. That's a scheduled time. Timings haven't been as scheduled due to delays at any point of the weekend, so I expect that to slip a little bit, but that's your scheduled time, and probably aim for that. It's quite busy down there, tricky to park, so if you do want to get down there, we will be doing the champagne celebrations for our championship crew as well. That is a very sideways Darien, and all of a sudden it ceases to be very wet, isn't it? we talk about Darien weather an awful lot. Definitely isn't that right now, is it? Sorry, I'm just flicking back to my notes for the championship permutations. The big news as far as the overall championship here in the Protyre is concerned is that if Callum Black takes maximum points today, Jack Morton will be the co-drivers champion. Ian Evans, Gareth Parry, they were 12th on last year's event. At the moment, 4th place overall in the National Rally. That is a big old spot of improvement, isn't it? You can smell how hot the brakes are, despite these conditions. The smell of hot brakes just wafting over to us here at the hairpin here in Hafford. If you're just tuning in, this is the penultimate round of the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. It is Rally Ceredigion. It is day 3. We have 4 stages today, and this is the second of them. Stage 12, Hafford, 26.5 kilometres of the 57 kilometres, making up the final day of competition. Effectively, the mileage of a national rally today to finish what has been an awfully long weekend for our crews. Back to those championship permutations in just a minute. There is our 2.5 leader. James Lewison alongside. Comes here 3rd in B13. If he takes the B13 win today, that will be an important set of points towards his championship campaign. And at the moment, those championship permutations looking very interesting, as I say, for Jack Morton, Callum's co-driver.
Sorry.
If Rob Fagg takes 2nd place alongside Neil Roskell today, that makes things extremely close as well in the co-driver standings for the 2 podium positions. So they will be all to play for going into the final round at the Hills 4 stages in a couple of weeks' time. Rory and Paul McCann have had a solid weekend. Not much competition in the class, but their overall times have been mighty impressive. They'll be B10 class champions if they take a maximum this weekend. There's a man who has to be Larry all weekend and has really been entertaining us, hasn't he? Gareth Thomas, Ryan Thomas hand alongside, and you know what? Just live before him, Gareth Edwards and Moy Williams, proving that sideways can be fast. Gareth Thomas in 8th place in the national leaderboard. Gareth Edwards in the Darien in 6th at this stage. There's Gordon Cunningham, Stuart McManus, currently 10th overall in the national leaderboard. Not registered for championship points. So some more championship news then as we go through into the final 3 stages. This being the first of them on today's final leg of Rally Ceredigion. Nicky Addison, who is again another driver who has had a solid year, and comes here not only fighting for the ladies' championship title, but also for B11. Comes here 3rd in B11, and the points today will be important, but probably most importantly today, she is ladies champion. Congratulations to Nicky Addison. Ian Thorburn alongside. We'll be seeing her later and hopefully get some reaction at the end of the final stage. As you see the man who we're hoping to clinch the licencing. Phil Sandham alongside. Another difficult job for him, just like Callum. What does he do? Does he fight for the win? Does he fight Hugh James? Well, it's a big old gap to be fighting. What was it between them? Yeah, 1:26, so he's not, unless problems happen up ahead. There just isn't enough mileage today. Enough road to do anything on the tyres alone on merit, but it's all about the championship at this penultimate round for Darren. So Nikki Ellison, ladies champion then, and that makes Emma Morrison, ladies co-driver champion. Emma not here this weekend, she's been co-driving for Ashley Morris in the championship, in the Fiesta R200. So congratulations to Emma Morrison as well, who was crowned Circuit Rally champion co-driver at the end of last season. She adds ladies co-driver champion here in the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship to that accolade. Thomas Davies, Shane Buckley there. First time here, Rally Ceredigion, and enjoying themselves. Not the first time on these roads, though. I don't think road rallying taken into account. Time's coming in then. Callum and Jack do a 10:51.9. That is 17.1 seconds faster than their championship rival, Neil Roskell. Rob Fagg alongside to remind you for this weekend. Di Roberts unable to be in the car. And Rob stepping into the breach. And he's done his championship. No harm whatsoever either, has it? John Rintoul, Ross Hind there. Putting in top 11, top 12 times towards the end of yesterday, that pair. Talking of top 11, top 12 times, Ben Crump, Ian Beaumont, Will Hill, Richard Crozier, the pair who retired yesterday from the rally, are back in action in Super Rally today, we're pleased to say. So they're currently 11th and 12th respectively on the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship leaderboard. Looking forward to seeing them through this stage. Absolutely gutted for them, but a real mark of the man. There was an incident yesterday where another crew needed some parts, and Ben put in the championship WhatsApp group, helped himself to my van, and listed the things where the parts were, where the boxes were labelled. What a guy. Gordon Morrison, Ian Parker came here fourth in B13. At the moment, 6th place. On the Protyre leaderboard, puts them 3rd in the points tally for this weekend's Rally Ceredigion. Just outside the top 10 overall on the National Rally here. The National Rally completing the same mileage as the Internationals. Somewhat unusually, usually a bit of a change around in the mileage, but not this time. It has been a grueling adventure for our national crews, that is for sure. 184 kilometres over 3 days, 14 stages, beginning with those night stages or sunset stages for the first of our national crews on Friday night. That was some atmosphere, by the way. The sun setting on the beach in Aberystwyth as the rally cars, spotlights ablaze, flames popping out of the exhaust from the anti-lag systems were picking the water out around the harbour and dancing those spotlights along the seafront. If you missed any of the action from this weekend, you can tune in at specialstage.tv. You can also find all of the live coverage on the championship social media pages. And there'll be a roundup of action from Rally Ceredigion and other tarmac and gravel events this Friday. Isn't it, Producer Wayne? Yes. For the Special Stage Rally Show in association with the Mini Rally Challenge. Talking of Mini Rally Challenge, by the way, not a Mini Rally Challenge car, but Andrew Davies and Andrew Rees this weekend. Car wasn't 173. Look out for them, and now we're on wet roads because they've been so entertaining in their Mini Cooper S. talking of entertaining, another man who's impressed us this weekend is this man, Nathan Evans. We'll put that down to the showboating, Nate, when you watch this back later. Reese Edwards alongside. Currently just outside the top 10 overall in the National Rally, but in terms of the Protyre crew, 7th overall. 9.2 seconds back from the grey escort of Gordon Morrison and Ian Parker. And doing a brilliant job in that Renault Clio this weekend. They came here needing some points as well. 46th on the championship roster. Just slotting into 10th in V11 at the last round, so the points from this finish will be extremely welcome for them. When we lost Ben Crumb, handed the lead at V10 to Nathan Evans, Reese Edwards, and they've done with it exactly what we expected. Grabbed it by the scruff of the neck. There's Richard Clues, Carl Williamson. They've gone well this weekend. I was here last year, but apart from that, a long time out of the car for Richard. Back to the times through this 12th stage then. The Hafford stage. Callum Black at 10.51.9. Neil Rosswell 11.09, 17.1 back. Yeah, and Evans 26.5 back. 11.18. There is the man who always puts in giant killing performances in that Rally 3. Hill's Ford Fiesta, William Hill, Richard Morton Crozier alongside. But the kind of ditch yesterday, because they were bitterly disappointed, but on for a strong result as well. But they are super rallying, and the team have got the car fixed. The same team, incidentally, that used to run the Brooklyn Sierras. Remember those? Yeah, pink Sierra of Phil Collins and that famous shot from the Cars and Car Conversions, or was it Autosport, wasn't it, feature with Ayrton Senna, that Oshan Price has actually recreated, because he uses the same test venue for his leading edge rally driver school. Nice little link there to the heritage that we all love so much. Sean Crowley, Callum Young have been coming in hot all weekend since we first saw them on Friday night in Aberystwyth. Didn't do the rally last year, they were a DNF. The year before, a fairly solid weekend so far. I think solid is the word to describe a long weekend like this, when you've battled through and dealt with plenty of problems along the way, and you're still in a fairly strong position as far as your class is concerned. Sam Touzle then was a further 2.5 seconds back in 4th place, 29 seconds off the lead time through this stage. Hugh James, 6th overall in the Nationals through this stage, 34.2 off the fastest time, Callum Black. But it's more about where he is in comparison. He's 9.4 back, actually. 2 positions back on the national leaderboard, 1 position back. 3 positions back actually on the national leaderboard. As far as the overall positions go, let's have a look what that changes. Not a lot is the answer to the gaps after 140, is it? 130 kilometres so far. You can hear the rain coming down now. This is, if you were to tune in now, having tuned in from the first couple of days of the action, You'd be hard-pressed to believe we were in the same part of the world. Such is the Welsh weather, as we are well aware here on Special Stage. As far as the Palace Connections Rally 2 Fiesta pair are concerned then, Callum Black, Jack Morton, that championship title, number 2, adding to last year's title, is within reach at this point. They won't take it this weekend if Neil Roskell can hang on, take that second place and take it to the final round. We're all crossing our fingers for a last round showdown. There's a man who doesn't need one of those. Rory McCann. Paul McCann alongside the B10 Honda Civic comes here without too much competition in the class, but crucially showing us what he can do on the overall times and with his positions to date so far. He'll take the B10 title today with maximum points. That will be just reward after a stellar performance this weekend. There's a man who has been entertaining us all weekend. Izzy Holman alongside in that Cape V60 Starlet, that brand new built car. Road rally specialist who prefers these lanes in the dark, but he's pretty good on them in the light as well. He took 11th fastest time through on the national leaderboard through the final stage yesterday, which is quite remarkable, isn't it? That car which has such a special story. I posted about that on Facebook in the lead up to the rally, but Mick Hand, Chris's old man, to remind you, used to road rally that car, that very car, and in 2006 Chris navigated for his dad. Sadly Mick's no longer with us, but as a tribute, Chris bought the car back and has spent the last few weeks rebuilding it from every nut and bolt upwards from a bare shell. It's got 230 horsepower, 6-speed dog box, Ryger suspension, it's still road rally legal, and he's going for his 3rd Kilwindegg victory with it this year. Fabulous story and a very entertaining car. Wayne Evans, John Smith have had a fairly decent event, no real dramas for them, the odd problem along the way. To remind you, we will be live again at the end of the second running of this stage. It will be the final stage of the rally later today. It's going to be about 20 past 3. But those times may have slipped slightly. As you see, Mike English, Simon Hunter, normally here fighting for B9 honours in that 1400 Corsa kit car. Not this weekend, he's inside that Rally 2 Fiesta with Mike. Another lovely story. As Allard Wyn Morgans put his own Escort off at Trosvenid a week or so ago. The car extensively damaged, wasn't able to make it here. He needed the points. He's limited damage here at the penultimate round of the championship. So, who stepped in? Lee Edwards, of course, with his G3 Escort. That is one heck of a car to rent out to somebody for their title fight. And he's got to grips with it pretty quickly, I've got to say. Producer Wayne's been all arty on the camera. You'll be able to see that photo pop up on Facebook, I'm pretty sure, anytime soon. He looks really proud with himself as well when he's managed to grab a shot or two. So the message come through. We'll get some of your comments on the specialstage.tv live coverage shortly, but Paul Sanford sent me a message. Robbie Sanford, who's competing this weekend with Max Jones. Car 190, I think they are, aren't they? he's heading out to Acropolis with M Sport on Wednesday as part of the Motorsport UK Academy for the co-drivers programme. So, understandably proud mum and dad moment. Look out for them coming through this stage. What an adventure that will be. Roger Moran has been setting top 10 times over the weekend in the national. Not registered for championship points, but good to see him picking up his form. Wasn't particularly pleased with himself yesterday when I spoke to him. Not that happy with his pace, but doesn't do that many events anymore, does he? Dan Petrie alongside in the Skoda Fabia R5. These cars incredibly difficult to handbrake around. So take nothing away from our drivers when they do manage the odd stall on the hairpin. We can forgive them. They don't do this very often. If you just tuned in, you're right. It is pretty terrible weather here in Wales now. This is Rally Ceredigion. This is the final day of the competition. We've got 4 stages today. This is the first of the last 3 of them. This is Hafford, and we're down at the hairpin with the first of 2 live shows for you today on special stage for the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. The hardy British rally fans out in force, watching the action. Adrian Evans, Martin Henry showing how it should be done, giving us a nice view of every corner of that almost Rothmans liveried Mark II. Lovely looking car.
Exactly, yes.
Hello to Glenn Dux, who is pretty pleased with how Chris Richmond Hand got on around there. Bobby Francis as well. Glenn Dux enjoying the noise. I presume that was from the Starlet. Does sound good. Jeremy Rally Life is watching from Belgium. Hello to you. Manuel Alberto Forte watching from Portugal. The weather's a little better in Portugal than it is here, but I think I would rather be here. Just. Andrew Shufflebotham looking for car 160 to put a good show on the hairpins. And car 160 did just that, didn't it? Chris Richmond Hand, Disney Holman. As you see, Howell Davies, Dorian Evans, who absolutely loved the stages yesterday. Big grin on his face. He said he felt like a rally driver. Super rallied on last year's event. From 75th, 11th in class. There's no real changes within the leaderboard at the minute, as you see. Very sideways. Scheller Escort. A beautiful car of Martin Rossiter, Dan Moorfield in their first year competing on stage rallies as well. What a car, what an event to be doing in your first year. Yeah, not much change after this stage. Through Hafford, Callum Black still leading the way, Jack Morton alongside. It's a 3-minute, 6-second lead now as well. That's formidable, isn't it? That was a road rally line, if ever I've seen one. Kerry Jones, Dylan Vargate. You can tell they've thrown an Escort into a chicane or a hairpin or 2 before now, can't you? They know exactly what to do. So that 3-minute, 6-second gap now back to Neil Roskell and Rob Fagg, who, if things stay as they are, will take the co-drivers overall. So now Callum will take the overall co-driver's title, and Rob will make things extremely close for second and third if he takes the 28 points that come with second here alongside Neil this weekend. Sam Toozle, Max Freeman were not here necessarily for that overall title position, but they were here to make a point and to just see how far that development that they've invested so much in this year had earned them. And it's got them right up there, hasn't it? A force to be reckoned with. Going Evans, he found Divine. It's horrible when you get it wrong in front of the spectators like that as well. When you grab the bar and you grab a little bit too much. On a wet road as well, a bit too much power. Feel for them. Darren Atkinson still hanging in there for the B13 battle as well, looking to take that title from this penultimate round. Quite the points advantage he has as well. He's been blistering this year. Phil Sandon back alongside him. In West Wales for Rali Ceredigion. Here comes Adrian Spencer. Rick Sutcliffe alongside for this event. Adrian said to me yesterday at the end of stage 7, I've been doing this too long, Paul. He looked tired, bless him. It's been a hard shift for our drivers and co-drivers this weekend. It's interesting you have a 1 or even a 2-day event here in this championship, and the times remain so close. The various bits of drama we had yesterday on the stages just opened the gaps up. Something wicked. So it's going to take some drama today to change those gaps around. I think at the moment the top 3 in the championship and in the overall national leaderboard: Callum Black, Jack Morton, Neil Roskell, Rob Fagg, Sam Toozle, Max Freeman. And if it stays like that as Tim Cole puts on a display that we've been enjoying all weekend. I thought we were going to get a set of Panizzi donuts down here then from the Manxman. Does enjoy throwing that BMW sideways. Sixth in B14, looking for some championship points. Going well for them so far in the Evo 9. Just flick back to stage 11. Yeah, at the moment they set an equal 12th fastest time through the last stage. Bethania equal with the yellow Clio we saw through a few minutes ago of Nathan Evans and Rhys Edwards. But a dramatic and fairly problem-strewn rally so far sees them down at the moment in 20th overall, because they are super rallying in that red Evo, but at least they are back out. There's quite a lot of our crews super rallying after the first couple of days, particularly day 2 of stage action here on Rali Ceredigion. If you are still planning on heading out to one of the final stages today, Bethania, you better be quick, or this second running of Hafford, please do check out the information on the Rali Ceredigion website. There's a wealth of information there for all the spectator areas that have been carefully selected with facilities and elevated viewing areas in some places to make the job as easy as possible for you. Get you proper access to the stages. It makes it so much easier for the organisers after the work they put in. If you follow those spectator instructions on the website. And of course, it goes without saying, please follow the marshal's instructions when you get there. Same goes for if you are joining us in the town centre in Aberystwyth tonight for the finish of this rally. Getting some great lines, aren't we? On that free right coming into view. There's Evan Richards, Daniel Jones, Phil Sandham from inside the Haldane Fisher car. Darren Atkinson saying they went on slicks for the first stage. Not accounting for the perhaps changing weather, and it said it was horrendous on slicks. Not a bad time through this stage considering, particularly if Hugh James was on inters. There's Charlie Tussil, Ben Wild alongside in the great looking MG ZR. A young lad who was mentioned a lot of times this weekend has a lot of experience from this first year of rallying. More experience in his first year of different types of events than many drivers get in 10 years. And we'll see him next week for the Woodpecker Rally as well, which actually isn't far from here, is it, Wayne? Change of location. Well, relatively to where I live, it's not far from here, compared to where the Woodpecker normally runs. For the Protyre BTRDA Rally Championship. We're looking forward to being live with you there as well for action next Saturday, so do tune in for that. And likewise, if you do fancy coming out and spectating, check out the Woodpecker Rally website, because there are plenty of useful snippets of information there for spectators. But we'll keep you covered. If not, we'll be your acoustic wallpaper for the day. There's some rally sounds in the background. Did you like that, Jeff?
I did.
You did, didn't you?
Who did you do that, actually?
I've been saying it for years, mate. They're all old. I just keep recycling them.
Paul Woodford bingo.
Paul Woodford bingo, indeed. We haven't done Clan Crusaders yet, though, have we? And we're off.
I was beginning to be impressed.
They're all winding me up here. The Paul Woodford bingo is underway. Should have worn my riff-raff hat, shouldn't I?
Yes.
That's what it's all about, don't it, Lyle? Of course it is.
Brian Launchbury says, come on, that's just slightly damp. It is now. It was positively tropical a few minutes ago when we started the stage. Honestly. David Grant's watching from a drizzly East Yorkshire, so I've got that to look forward to when I go back then, have I? I love that car. Neil Jones, Alan Thomas in the Vauxhall Astra did the mini-bit stages on Epping for his first ever rally. Anyone who does Epping as their first ever rally gets my respect, particularly in those days, because we're talking late 70s, and get this, it was in a Triumph TR7 V8. Imagine trying to be Tony Pond in period on Epping as your first ever rally. I think a Mark II Astra GTE on the Rally Ceredigion in 2024, as epic as that must be, cannot even try to compare, can it? Here is our Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship Ladies Champion, Nikki Addison, takes that title today and just stops for a bit of appreciation from the fans here at the Hairpin in Hafford. But she does take the Ladies Championship title with her performance to date. And this weekend here at Rally Ceredigion, Emma Morrison, who has co-driven for Ashley Morris this season, takes the co-drivers Ladies Championship. Chris Mapper says, hope Bobby Francis is sat at home in his shorts and sliders, not up Epping like last weekend. Great coverage, thanks all. Jordan Jordan says, Harry Walshaw will wear the riff-raff hat for you since he's robbed his. Okay, I see what you meant now. Nathan Shaw says, everyone's doing Woodford bingo now. What did I start? Was that you who started that, Nathan? Thank you. Philip Lloyd, Dean Wiltshire, lighting them up. They've had a lot of fun on the stages so far. The eagle-eyed among you will notice we're missing the familiar Welsh liveried Darien of John Dalton. Wasn't too well yesterday after stage 7, calling it a day, but really went well and was pushing on the stages on the first 2 days of this event. At stage 3 we were in yesterday when he came down the hill. 4, wasn't it? Yeah, of course. And fired the Darien up the bank and carried on. Very entertaining. Spectators are very well behaved these days. You sort of expect a sarcastic cheer, don't you? Michael Harbour, Cameron Dunn. They came here first in B11. I'll tell you what, Nathan Evans is one of the number of crews all chomping at the bit going into the final round in a couple of weeks' time on the roads around the Malvern Hills for the Hills Forward, what used to be the Three Shires Rally, another closed road event. Here in the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. Mark Holmes and Manx co-driver Bonnie Papa. That's it. You get it wrong, you style it out. That's how you do it. They had a rough day yesterday, snapping the axle on the Mark 1. Bonnie posting on social media to say that they were working really hard to get the car sorted and back out, which we're pleased to say they have, because they've been entertaining all weekend. Bonnie was drafted in at last minute to co-drive, another one of our Motorsport UK Academy co-drivers who just seems to be popping up everywhere on events as she builds her career and builds her profile as well. Well worth following on social media. Richard Owen Morgans, Dylan Rees-James taking a tight line. You wouldn't want to take it any tighter than that. I'm trying to remember who it was last year who took off the under tray off the car, trying to do too tight a line on his hairpin. It was Nevo 9, wasn't it? I think Steve Allman Smith, was it? No, that was on the Isle of Man who did that. We've had a few of those moments, haven't we, on these tight hairpins. Citroen C2 R2 Max's sound. Lloyd Morgan, Ellie Williams. They actually won their class here on the first running of Rally Ceredigion back in 2019. I can't remember what they were driving then. Micro, of course. And here they are in a C2 R2 Max. I asked a little while ago where they all went, and suddenly they've all started coming out of the woodwork again, haven't they? I hate to think of a car like that sat in a garage, in the corner of a workshop under a cover not being used. Expensive little beasts to keep running, though, if you're not going to use them a lot, that's for certain. Rally Ceredigion, a real good news story for the sport then this weekend. 3 days, 14 stages, 184 kilometres of epic action, helicopters, international audiences. All sorts of things I'm not allowed to mention. Doing my very best Basil Fawlty impression this weekend with my list of things I can't mention. Don't mention the international event. And I won't. But joking aside, it's a great profile for the sport. And nice to see a busy, bustling media centre on a UK rally as well. Joining the many calls for bringing back Rally GB after a little taste of international rallying again on home soil this weekend. Thomas Davies, Sean Rowlands. I can see producer Wayne looking at me like I'm about to get myself in trouble and mention something I shouldn't, so we'll stand down, Woodford.
give him a tune.
He's younger than me.
Big thank you to our crew this weekend who've been working tirelessly as ever. Producer Wayne on the studio job, although we've got producer Wayne on the camera today. We've managed to get him out of the studio for today's live coverage. Luke Leonard and Sam Leonard on camera, and Chris Davies, normally our drone pilot, but there was a blackout, wasn't there, on aerial activity this weekend. Oops, I'm mentioning things I shouldn't again. He's been joining us on the ground this weekend, feet firmly on the ground. And you'll see some of the edits afterwards, which Chris does, which are brilliant. Lovely job from Evan Jones, Delbone. You can tell the guys that have done these lanes on road rallies, can't you? You can just tell. They're used to hairpins and junctions and slots and all the rest of it. Amazing to think of the road rallies that have shared these lanes with this closed road stage rally as it is now. The Chris Hellier, the Powys lanes, we've mentioned this a few times over the weekend, the Sion Helen, the number of road rallies, and this is very much road rally country. I come from road rally country as well in Yorkshire, but it doesn't get much more road rally country than this, does it? And we've got a number of drivers out here, as I say, who are used to throwing these cars around in the lanes. And it shows. Paul Wakely was talking to me about Heffin's Escort. He's done a bit of work on that over the years, and I understand that it's been prepared many, many years ago with some very robust stone chip paint underneath, and hasn't needed refabbing under there since. That's how you do it. At the risk of getting very nerdy now, aren't we? Ricky Reynolds, Eppin Jenkins, looking to improve on their 43rd overall, 4th place in class finish from last year after a DNF the year before here on Rally Ceredigion, a rally which has gone from 1 day to 2 day to being a national event to this year being an international event. If you're just tuning in, don't worry, you may have missed a number of the crews through this. That's, I think, then 12th stage of the weekend. This Hafford stage, but you can catch up with the action. If you're watching on specialstage.tv, you can rewind live Rally TV. If you're watching on Facebook, you'll have to watch afterwards, but you can catch up with all of the action so far on our social media page, or wherever you're watching. The best place to watch is the new home for Rally TV, which is specialstage.tv. It's all there in one place, and we've got some cracking features coming up for you as well in the coming weeks and months. Colin Davies, Lucy Wilding, the only rally Colin will do this year, and he's picked it good, hasn't he? Yeah, look out for those special features, and there are a few already on there on the specialstage.tv platform, including a very special 40th birthday feature for the Metro 6R4. Got a very cute feature coming out your way next week. Well, that's all I'll say, but it involves rally rides, the rally school, where we did our season opener as a special stage rally TV team, jumping in rally cars with Ian Ross and his team down there, and having a blooming good time with it as well. Roy Lewis, Dion Lewis, mentioned this earlier in the weekend. This is their first rally since the year 2000. Things have changed a little bit since then. But you know what? If you stalled an Escort on a hairpin in Hafford back in 2000, you'd have got the same reaction from the gathered speckies, albeit it wouldn't have been a closed road rally in those days. Sideways BMWs have been a bit of a theme of the weekend, haven't they? And, again, you can tell the Macaulay Crone, Janet Morris have done this before, can't you? In that M3 engined compact. Nicely done, a bit of a Scandinavian flick into this Hafford hairpin. So Bethania up next. You can follow the live leaderboards at EWRC if you're doing so, and then you can join us for live coverage and reaction from the stage end of this Hafford stage for the final stage of the rally, known in the international rally is the power stage. It will simply be the final stage of our rally, and we'll be there at the end to bring you the reaction. Ooh, using all of the road there. Ian Roberts Jr., Jamie Mills. They've gone well this weekend in that Corolla. That's a whole different way of styling it out. Don't worry about the bumper. It's far less embarrassing having to polish your bumper than it is stopping in front of the crowds and doing a three-point turn. Just keep it going, keep it pinned. So yeah, we'll be live at scheduled time, was it 3:20, wasn't it? But timings have slipped somewhat today for the final stage for the Nationals. But let's go with that as a starter for 10, and we'll update you from there. If that changes too much, at least you'll be on time, if nothing else. As I say, we've got a number of crews to congratulate later, not least Nikki Addison as our ladies champion here in the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. We could, if things stay the same, be crowning Jack Morton the title-winning co-driver for the second year as well. And if things stay just as they are now, Darren Atkinson will take the B13 title. I'm not sure. Rory and Paul McCann as well, if they continue as they are, they will be B10 class champions. So a number of champions to hopefully get a reaction from. That'll be a nice moment for you to share with us later on. Another road rally man. Another man, Gareth Thomas Jones. Thomas Hughes know how to go around a hairpin. You can spot a road rally spec Mark II a mile off these days. Don't see any chrome, do you, on a stage rally Mark II anymore? 4 doors and chrome, that's what it's all about. And lighting the rear tyres up, of course. Jordan Gullick is a good man to check out if you like your road rallying photos. Recently, he's been out on quite a few and taken some absolutely stunning photos that really capture the atmosphere on those road rallies. A gaggle of photographers around me who haven't taken their time out of their day to send me pictures of their road rally, now wondering why I didn't know they took pictures of road rally. But yeah, Jordan does send me the odd photo through because he knows I like these things, and I've enjoyed that. I've got a much easier job of pushing him down the bank than he has me. Let him remember that. William Mains, who this weekend has had a bit of a tough job on his hands, hasn't he? But as far as B9 is concerned, not much competition in the championship crews this weekend in B9, is there, so? Even bounced the car off the bank yesterday, that normally pristine Nova of his. It was very entertaining, three-wheeling that little orange Nova through the town. On the first 2 stages, we joined U4 on Friday evening. Seems an awful long time ago, that now, doesn't it? Just a few more crews to go in this 12th stage of the rally, and then we'll be hot-footing it to, we have to go, oh no, we don't have to go the long way around now, do we? We can go through the stage, I believe, so we'll be heading to the finish of this stage. Ready to get you the reaction from our crews as Rally Ceredigion 2024 comes to an end. Another entertaining car and driver this weekend. David Williams, Andrew Davies alongside in the Chrysler Sunbeam, lighting up those rear tyres under those fat Lotus Sunbeam arches. Looks and sounds amazing, doesn't it? Between that and the starlet of Chris Hand, if you're into classic cars and classic rally cars this weekend, you have plenty of eye candy, that is for sure. Love the variety on the national entry this weekend. It's something we've come to expect, actually. It's become a bit of a thing at the minute, hasn't it? People bringing I suppose somebody wasn't an unusual rally car, but it's become more unusual than we would like recently. People bringing different cars out. It's often levelled at rally, and it's all escorts. It's not all escorts at all. We just had to look at the entry this weekend. There's plenty of them, and with good reason. History would tell you that if you're going into rallying, Ford Escort is a very good bet. But I do love seeing crews bringing something different out, blazing a trail, and bringing out cars that have meant something special to them in their history as well. It'd be nice if Chris Hand could win the Kilwindig in that style, wouldn't it? And way back at the second round or the opening round, even of the Welsh Rally Championship earlier in the season, Rally North Wales. Chris and Pete Fenner did that rally and then took the livery, or covered the livery up and went straight onto the Keen Road Rally and stage rallying to road rallying in the same day. And from Thomas, Dewey Davies styling it out here at the hairpin, not quite getting it right, but that's okay. Hello to Archie McLean. He's cheering on Charlie and Adam in the right ways. Fiesta R2 Turbo. We'll see from shortly. Keith Daniels, Corey Powell-Jones in the Clio doing a solid job this weekend. You can see the diff working in that level 206, can't you? Nicely done, I'll tell you what. James Williams may have retired from the international event in dramatic fashion yesterday after taking a fastest stage time, but his uncle has done him proud there. James will have enjoyed watching that. Paul Loke Williams. Dilwyn John doing their first rally, first stage rally anyway, first time listening to the stage notes. You could see the diff pulling him all over the place down here, but then just sent it in, didn't he, in tribute to his nephew. Again, I'm not allowed to mention the international rally, but wow. James Williams, what a performance this weekend. Such a shame it ended early, but it is early days, so that's fine. He'll come again, I'm sure. I always find it remarkable when you get to the third day of a rally like this, which is a real marathon. That we've got 57 kilometres, effectively the mileage of a national rally just on day 3. Speaking to some of the crews yesterday, it's been a real challenge just to figure out how to get their mindset and get the car prepped for that. Hugh Morris, Daniel Johnson doing their very best to break a drive shaft, not managing it at the hairpin here, but giving us plenty of hot tyre smell. It's the only bit we can't bring you when we're bringing you live rallying is the smell of it. Everything else, I think, comes across okay on the screen. Hello to Mark Grant watching the coverage in East Yorkshire, Martin Fairburn as well. Just looking forward to the final round of the series, the Hills Ford Rally. Paul Richardson as well joining us here on the coverage. Just disappointed that he and Fiona weren't out competing themselves. Max Jones and Robbie Sanford, the Motorsport UK Academy co-driver, who will be heading out to the Acropolis with M Sport on Wednesday. Just managing to keep that car out of the bail down here in the hairpin and giving us a good look at that beautifully prepped Mark II. David Smith says, gutted Jason Pritchard is missing this year. Yeah, we are as well, but if you saw his post, they just struggled to get the Yaris Rally 2 registered at the time. As you see, Alan Marriage and Karen Lane in the Mark II. Nicely done. Yeah, it's too high profile, isn't it? You can't drive a car on the roads over here that isn't registered properly, and that car came unregistered, so they've done the right thing, and we'll see that Yaris Rally 2. And it is an absolutely glorious livery, by the way. I had a look at it at North Road Garage at the... when was I down at North Road Garage? When was I looking at that? At the Nicky Grist stages. And it was... yeah, it looks fantastic. Can't wait to see it out. Yaris Rally 2 in national rallying. We've seen it out on the internationals this weekend, and unfortunately it didn't end well for Chris Ingram earlier today, did it? Kyle Casement in the C2 thought he had that one sewed up, didn't he? And watching his marker man, Jonathan Davies in the Peugeot 206. Unfortunately, if you're watching too closely and you're sort of following the line in under braking, and then the car in front does something dodgy, it tends to end up that you do something dodgy as well. I'm doing something like that at Barkston Heath on a single venue, and it wasn't very clever. But Kyle, one of the Manx crews over here in the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship, had his hand up. I don't know if it was in exasperation at his own endeavours there, or whether he maybe just got a little frustrated with having to follow that 206 in, and then with what happened next. But it was it'll make for some good photos, I'm pretty sure. There's plenty of photographers down here who will be putting photographs out. Where can we find your photos after the event, sir?
On Pitchside Images.
Pitchside Images on Facebook. That's it. He's not got a fancy page. Just sticks them on Facebook.
Can't do technology.
But you'll see some great photos. I love looking through the photos after a rally. It helps me with the Monday rally blues. There's Charlie Wright, Adam Westerby then. Archie McLean will be happy.
You want to go?
Drop me a line for a shout out. Managed to get it in just as the car came through for you, Archie. Hope you're enjoying your day, watching the coverage. Hello to Stephen Reed. Absolutely knackered today, watching from Wrexham, but he was marshalling yesterday on Nanty Moch. Thank you for marshalling, Stephen. You guys are heroes. Marshals are so important to what we do here. Graham Tongs watching in both. You could pop up the road and have a look at the Yaris Rally 2 for yourself. Marshalled on Lynn Briani yesterday. This Lotus has been, I was about to say at the beginning of the weekend, I said that John Bray and Don James were brave bringing a Lotus Elise out on these roads, and that it would be bouncing around. Until now, it's been absolutely perfect, but that's perhaps a car you want to take a wider line on a steep hairpin, isn't it? But again, great to see something different out, and I bet that's been fraught inside there this weekend. These stages have been long, fast, narrow, and that car would have been twitchy as hell, wouldn't it? Fair play, lads. 3 more cars left in this stage to entertain you, and as we have done throughout the weekend, we'll go right through the entry, because that's important to us here in the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. We know it is for you watching at home as well. Whenever we can, we do. Oh, Max Murray, Matty Owen will be frustrated there. They almost kept it going, didn't they? We're 18th overall coming into today. Another of our Max pairs. And missing the wing mirror on the co-driver's side, of course. It's Jeremy Backer, Glenn Thomas. Another driver who, speaking to him after stage 7 yesterday, was talking about how epic it was to be out on these stages. And when you're watching at home, and when we're doing this job, because we'd all like to be in a rally car ourselves, really, wouldn't we, at heart? When you're watching at home, it's nice to see these competitors really appreciating the moment that they're in. I think that's important, so we try and get that out of the interviews at the stage end. And Jeremy yesterday really did give us a feel for how much he was enjoying himself on these epic stages. That 26-kilometre stage yesterday was just something else, wasn't it? It's been a weekend that our crews will remember for a long time, that is for sure. And it has been a weekend, as I mentioned earlier, that has been pretty decisive as far as the championship is concerned in some respects. But in others, Neil Roskell can still push this to the final round and give us a final round showdown here in the Protyre Championship. I just dropped my umbrella and it was all tangled up with the rest, a whole lot of other things with it. I know it doesn't make very good radio, but it would have been even worse radio had I gone down the bank with my umbrella, and believe me, I would have gone down with it. So a reminder, we'll be back live with reaction from our crews after the final stage at the finish of Rally Ceredigion at 3:20. Jonathan Davies, Owen Rowcliffe in there, Peugeot 206. Super rallied last year. Looking to improve on 59th on the leaderboard on last year's Rally Ceredigion. Ricky Semmons is the finish in Aberystwyth Town. It is. We expect the national crews to get through into Aberystwyth for the finish at around about 4:20, given current timings on the schedule. However, let's be aware that they may change slightly. Missing Mark and Claire Lennox, of course, in the Road Rally Spec Mark II as well. The car wasn't very healthy when it came past us yesterday, but good to see them out and doing a good job in the car as well. A number of other notable retirements through the weekend as well. And a word for George Hayway, who didn't actually make the start with a problem with the car. It was here and did try to get it going, but just couldn't, as you see Paul Holmes and Elizabeth Beasley doing a decent job here on the hairpin in the Mark II RS 2000. Just waiting for Mark Manning and Laura Christmas in the Mini. We cannot stop this live show, can we, when there's a Mini on the stage? So enjoy this as the last bit of action of the day, and the next action, no, the next bit of action, we have got stage and a camera on the stage as well as stage end, haven't we? Yeah, so no, not the last bit of action, I'm pleased to say, that you'll see live on Rally Ceredigion this year, but the last bit of action from stage 12 before we join you at around 3:20 at current timings. The weather's set to stay pretty dry. Looking at the forecast for the rest of the afternoon, you'll be pleased to know if you're coming out spectating or if you're by the side of the stage at the moment, or indeed if you are sat in the start line for the next stage, Bethania, which I know a lot of our crews do tune in on the start. I quite like the idea that our crews are tuned in while they're in the rally cars waiting to start the stage. think we act as a gravel notes crew for some of our competitors. The spectators getting excited because there's a Mini on the stage. I love that. That was a brave line, wasn't it, to finish things off there in a Mini. There is not a lot of ground clearance there, and that is a steep hairpin. But Mark Mullin and Nora Christmas came through there and rounded things off for us here in stage 12. That is everything for you from this 12th stage of the day. We will be back at 3:20. So make sure you tune in then, and you can follow the results in the meantime at EWRC for the Bethania stage. Titles being sewn up all over the place here in the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. But as things stand, that overall driver's title will go down to a final round showdown. 2 to go. See you soon.